Let's now speak to Alon Pinkas, who's the former ambassador and consul general of Israel in New York, joining us from Tel Aviv. Mr. Pinkas, thanks for your time with us. What is Israel trying to achieve by detaining the director of the Kamal Adawan Hospital and by really just simply decimating the healthcare system across the Gaza Strip in violation, of course, of international law?
Yeah, okay. Let's start with the second question, Doreen. The operation, according to the military and according to the government's official line, was intelligence-driven because there was enough intelligence evidence that over 250 Hamas people were gathered in the hospital. And so it was encircled, put under siege, and then Israel went in and, according to official reports, apprehended over 250 people. Even if that is the case, that does not justify rendering the hospital inoperational, meaning that it cannot function, and it's just one of two or three or four hospitals that have seen the same fate. Now, as for the director of the hospital, he, again, officially has been detained for questioning whether or not he was complicit in the Hamas activity, whether he knew that they were coming. Again, this is the official line. I happen to think that no matter who is in the hospital and no matter what is hidden or stashed in that hospital, hospitals should be out of bounds for the military. But a lot of it, Doreen, if we look at a broader context and a slightly broader perspective, a lot of this has to do with the fact that the war has no objectives anymore.
Right.
I mean, the war had military objectives that were never aligned with political objectives, meaning when President Biden, back in January of 2023, this is over a year ago, and then again in January and February and March, presented a post-war framework, Israel rejected it. First, it denied it ever existed. Then it said it's not interested, and then repudiated the entire idea and refused to enter into and to engage in any talks on that. Because there are no political goals aligned with the military goals, the war is just bubbling on. People are getting killed. It was protracted to begin with, Darin, for Mr. Netanyahu's political purposes. Even the military has said more than once, and the outgoing defense minister, who was fired, among other reasons for this, said that the war exhausted its usefulness and its utility.
Okay, allow me to jump in there. My apologies for the sake of time. I mean, on that point that you make about the official lines coming out of Israel when it comes to the hospitals, we've seen this before. Remember Al-Shifa way back in the war. I mean, Israel claims that they're being used by Hamas fighters, but they never provide any evidence, right, to support these claims. How do you explain, though, that it continues to get away with basically flouting international law?
That's a very good question. Look, I don't know if both in Shifa and then the Indonesian hospital and then Al-Ali hospital and now this hospital that we're talking about, I don't know who exactly was apprehended there. I don't know who was arrested. I don't know who was shot dead in terms of wanted Hamas people or terrorists. I do know, however, that there is a discrepancy, and you described it correctly. There is a discrepancy between the big, thick headlines of over 250, and they were all armed, and there were explosives, and it was this, and there was that, and then the failure to come up with the evidence to support this. It's as if Israel is assuming that this is justified because Israel says it's justified.
Right.
No one is pushing or leaning or pressuring to provide that incriminating information or evidence or proof, and then everyone forgets about it until we meet a new crisis of this kind.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Alon Pinkas, former ambassador and consul general of Israel in New York, joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doreen.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.